As the 100-year anniversary of World War I approached, the Woodville Pioneer Museum Society of the Tararua district wanted to do something special in memoriam, and the result was a long, hard slog followed by a very impressive display. I welcome them to the stage now.
Good afternoon. My name is Tracy Collis and I'm a District Councillor in Tararua. Today it is my privilege to introduce the Woodville Pioneer Museum's presentation, Woodville Remembering World War I. To present the commemoration, please welcome Mr Gerard Murray and Mr Kevin McIntyre.
Woodville Pioneer Museum is run by a group of 13 volunteers who retain the history of Woodville and districts. The museum opened in 1970 in a building built in 1887 to house the library. In 2013, we held a 2-week exhibition on the involvement of Woodville people in all the conflicts New Zealanders had participated in. It was a good way to show off the museum's collection and the community's history. Encouraged by the positive feedback, we again drew upon the resources of our local community and the expertise of friends of the museum to present Woodville Remembering World War I. Bettina McCulloch, a local artist, painted the huge mural you see up behind me now. We were fortunate that my son, living in Turkey, was able to travel to Gallipoli to photograph the scenery and memorials to our New Zealanders who were killed in the Anzac landing. Many people provided memorabilia and helped with the manning of the exhibition. Definitely a real community effort. We were proud to see it made the TV news.
The tiny North Island town of Woodville is going all out to remember those lost in World War I. The local museum is screening a documentary. It's made about the hundreds of men and one woman who headed to the front line. Will Hine reports.
Woodville, Tararua district, population 1,400. The town wasn't much bigger a century ago when the Great War broke out.
They all went off to war, and I think there were over 400 of them, and 120 of those were killed.
They're now being honoured in a museum exhibition and documentary.
He would go to the Anzac parade and he'd come home and he'd sit in the chair and just sit and look in their fireplace. He never spoke about it.
We're sure he went to Gallipoli at the landing and he's evacuated from there. And he went to France and died of wounds in France.
This board shows the names of those who headed off. The ones in red didn't come back.
He was 31 years of age and he was killed 10 days after my mother turned 6. She cannot remember anything about him.
Other families have stronger memories to go on.
His battery was the one that fired the first shots in France.
The film also tells the tale of this cigarette case, lost for decades after disappearing in a muddy trench in Belgium.
It vanished. He never seen it again until after the Second World War it returned to Woodville to the RSA. He was absolutely elated and to have it back again after all those years.
Lottery grants funding of more than $13,000 helped make the documentary, one of many projects taking place around New Zealand to mark the war's centenary. The finished product has gone down a treat.
They're just blown away that a small town can put on something like this. Someone said to me, you wouldn't see this in Auckland, you wouldn't see this in Wellington.
The exhibition runs for another week. The documentary will live on in time. Will Hine, One News.
We didn't want to create another war scene, but to remember the families left behind. The exhibition highlights were the public participation. 3,000 people, twice the population of the town, visited this exhibition. Although this all happened last year, it is still relevant today, with Gallipoli Centennial next month. The price we paid, of the 400 serving personnel, a quarter didn't return. Community add-ons to the exhibition. The genealogy group met at the venue with a speaker on soldiers trained at the Featherston military camp. The Lions Club, a speaker on military medals. The Masonic Lodge exhibition and meeting. and of course the 5 schools of the district, and they had displays. We planned a 15-minute film with interviews of descendants, and it ended up with so much wonderful material that the filmmaker produced a 45-minute documentary. He quickly became a major sponsor. 200 hours of interviews, 400 hours in production. It premiered at the local theatre and it ran continuously at our exhibition. You have already seen some of this film on the TV news that we had, and we wish to finish with a little more. It would be wrong to call them highlights, but please remember along with us.
My father was in the Auckland Regiment, spent his war years in France. He was quite badly gassed. He was at Passchendaele.
We've got the original diary that he kept. That's how we've got most of the information about him.
Some people have got lots of war history from their families and diaries, but we haven't got anything like that at all. It was only just word of mouth that we sort of gleaned, and that wasn't easy to get either because very few of them spoke about it.
It was a mystery to me why a man should sell his farm and just when he settled on it and away go to war in 1917, why he did that. He said things were so tough and the situation was so serious that if he hadn't have volunteered to go to war, he would have been pushed. Every man and everyone that was capable of doing something was wanted at that time.
This is his paybook, a very simple affair. There's a little purse there where they put the money. And here it tells where he signed up, the time he spent on the boat, when he arrived in France, various camps that he was in, and then on the 1st of June, Armentières. The 13th of June, 1916, in the field, and then killed in action the 15th of July 1916. And the debit owing to my grandmother was 7 shillings and 9 pence. That says it all. It's a very special piece of memorabilia for me. And I had his hat badge gilded and I wear it as a brooch on Anzac Day. So that's all I know about my grandfather.
We will remember them. Thank you.